There's a power most people overlook, a strength that doesn't shout, doesn't post, doesn't need to prove itself. It's called silence. You see, the world tells you to always be seen, to announce every move, to show your progress, to explain your pain, to prove your worth. But sometimes the loudest thing you can ever do is to go quiet. If you've ever felt that pull to retreat, to disappear for a while, don't mistake it for weakness. It's not running away. It's not giving up. It's the moment your soul whispers, it's time to heal. Because healing rarely happens in the spotlight. It happens in the shadows, in solitude, in silence. That's where you start to remember who you really are. Imagine this: a seed can't grow in the open air. It has to be buried deep underground, unseen, untouched, forgotten. And yet that's where transformation begins. That's where roots grow strong enough to push through the dirt and rise toward the light. Your growth works the same way. Sometimes disappearing isn't losing yourself. It's finally finding yourself. But here's the thing. The moment you go quiet, the world gets uncomfortable. They'll ask, what happened to you? They'll wonder why you stopped showing up, why you stopped answering, why you stopped posting. They won't understand that you're not abandoning them. You're returning to yourself. Because silence is not absence. It's presence with yourself. In that silence, something sacred happens. You face what you've been avoiding, your wounds, your fears, your regrets. You stop pouring into everyone else and start refilling your own cup. You stop chasing validation and start chasing peace. And slowly, piece by piece, your energy returns. Your strength is reborn. And when you come back, you don't come back the same. You come back transformed. You come back with boundaries. You come back with fire in your eyes and calm in your soul. You come back stronger, quieter, wiser. The world won't recognize you, and that's okay, because the person you were before couldn't survive where you're going next. So if you're in a season right now where everything feels still, where no one sees your effort, where progress feels invisible, don't rush it. You're not stuck. You're not falling behind. You're gathering strength. Silence is not the end of your story. It's the preparation for your rise. Think about nature. The caterpillar doesn't transform while the world is watching. It disappears into a cocoon. To everyone else, it looks like nothing is happening, just stillness. But inside out, everything is changing. Every cell is being reshaped. Every part of it dissolves and reforms into something new. And one day, when the time is right, it doesn't crawl anymore. It flies. That's what you're doing. Your silence is not wasted time. Your silence is transformation. The truth is, silence forces you to face yourself. It reveals what noise has been hiding. In silence, you start hearing your own voice again. Not the one society programmed, not the one filtered through fear, but the voice that knows who you really are. Ask yourself, when was the last time you listened to you? Not the version that performs, not the version that pleases, not the version that pretends, but the raw, unfiltered you. The you that knows what hurts, the you that knows what heals, the you that's been waiting patiently underneath all the noise. When you listen, that voice starts to grow louder. It becomes your compass. It becomes your strength. And soon you'll realize you don't need to shout to be powerful. You don't need to be seen to be significant. You don't need to explain your growth to anyone, because your silence is enough. You're not disappearing. You're rebuilding. You're not quitting. You're recalibrating. You're not broken. You're becoming. So let the world misunderstand you. Let them talk. Let them assume. Because while they're making noise, you're making progress. And one day you'll return. Not with noise, not with drama, but with undeniable strength. The kind that doesn't need to announce itself. That's the comeback they'll never see coming. That's the power of working in silence. That's the moment you rise, stronger than ever. Remember, You don't have to prove anything to anyone. The real proof is in your transformation. Stay quiet, stay grounded, keep building. And when it's time, the world will see what silence created. There's something about silence that scares people. It's not the quiet itself. It's what the quiet reveals. Because when the noise fades, when the distractions are gone, when the world stops demanding your attention, you're left alone with the one person you can't escape, yourself. And that's where most people break. Not because silence is cruel, but because silence is honest. In silence, the truth shows up. The pain you buried, the regrets you've ignored, the disappointment you've disguised with a smile, they all rise to the surface. And for the first time, you're forced to face them. It hurts. It's uncomfortable. It feels endless. But that's where healing begins, in the raw, unfiltered confrontation with your own soul. You see, pain that's ignored becomes poison, but pain that's faced becomes power. That's why you needed to disappear, not to escape life, but to finally meet yourself without the mask. It's in the silence that you sit with your broken pieces long enough to start putting them back together. You learn that solitude isn't loneliness, it's sacred ground. It's the forge where your strength is reborn. Because the truth is, the old version of you had to die for the new one to live, and that death doesn't happen in public. It happens in private, in silence, in darkness. So don't fear the quiet. Don't rush the process. Don't fight the stillness. Because right now, even if it feels like nothing's happening, everything inside you is changing. Every cell of your spirit is rearranging itself for a greater version of you to emerge. You might cry. You might question everything. You might wonder if anyone even notices that you're gone. But this is not your ending. This is your transformation. Like the winter trees stripped bare, you may look lifeless to the world, but underneath your roots are deepening. Your foundation is solidifying. You're gathering the strength that spring will soon demand. And when spring comes, when your comeback begins, you will bloom with such quiet power that even those who doubted you will stop and stare. Because your silence was never empty. It was sacred. It was purposeful. It was preparing you. In this season, you'll notice something else too. Distance has a way of revealing truth. When you go quiet, the masks around you fall. You start to see who was there for your presence and who was only there for your energy. Some people will call you distant. Some will say you've changed. Some will guilt you for protecting your peace. But that's okay. You're no longer living for their comfort. You're living for your growth. Healing requires courage. And sometimes courage means disappointing others so that you can finally stop disappointing yourself. Think about it. How many times did you say yes when your heart screamed no? How many times did you silence your own needs to please people who never noticed your pain? How many times did you show up for everyone else while slowly disappearing from yourself? That's over now. Because in the silence, you remember you matter too. Your peace matters. Your energy matters. Your voice matters. And once you remember that, everything changes. You begin to draw boundaries. You begin to say no without guilt. You begin to walk away from conversations that drain you. And every time you do, you reclaim a little more of yourself. The world might not understand it, but you're not here to be understood. You're here to be whole. So yes, some people will leave when you stop overgiving. Some will fade when you stop performing, but let them. Because the ones meant for you will never be threatened by your silence. They will respect it. They will feel it. They will see the strength it takes to go quiet in a world addicted to noise. That's what real power looks like. Not the kind that shouts, not the kind that demands attention, but the kind that commands respect without saying a word. And when you finally come back, you won't need to announce your return. Your presence will do it for you. The same situations that once broke you will no longer shake you. The same people who once controlled you will no longer define you. The same pain that once haunted you will no longer own you. Because you'll realize something profound. You didn't just survive the silence, you evolved in it. You became the version of yourself that doesn't chase peace. You are peace. You don't seek validation. You embody confidence. You don't beg to be seen because you finally see yourself. That's the reward of working in silence. That's the quiet revolution happening inside you right now. And when you walk back into the world, the same people who doubted you will notice the difference. They won't be able to explain it, but they'll feel it. The calm in your voice, the fire in your eyes, the strength in your energy. They'll say, "You've changed." And you'll smile, because they're right. You have changed. You've grown. You've healed. You've risen. And all of it happened in silence. So if you're in that silent season right now, don't resist it. Don't fear it. Don't rush it. Because this is not where you end. This is where you begin again. This is where you are reborn. Stay there. Grow there. Trust there. Because soon, your silence will turn into strength. Your strength will turn into momentum. And your momentum will turn into your comeback. You are not being forgotten. You are being forged. There comes a moment when silence turns into movement. When the stillness you've been living in suddenly shifts into energy. When every tear, every doubt, every lonely night becomes fuel for your return. You feel it, don't you? That quiet fire inside you, it's been growing beneath the surface, waiting, building, preparing. And now, it's ready. This is the part where you rise. You've spent enough time in the shadows. You've learned. You've healed. You've rebuilt. Now the world will see what silence created. But make no mistake, you're make no mistake, no, you're not coming back to prove them wrong. You're coming back to prove yourself right. Because deep down, you always knew you were capable. You always knew your story wasn't over. You always knew that this silence was just the setup for your comeback. You see, silence taught you something no noise ever could. It taught you patience. It taught you discipline. It taught you how to stand tall with no applause. And that's real strength. You learned how to fight battles no one saw. You faced demons no one believed existed. And you came out the other side. Not just alive, but unstoppable. Now, when you walk into a room, you don't need to announce who you are. Your presence does it for you. Because real confidence doesn't speak. It radiates. People will look at you and wonder, what changed? And you'll simply smile. Because how could they understand the storm you survived to become this calm? They don't know about the nights you cried quietly, the mornings you forced yourself to rise, the countless times you doubted your worth but kept going anyway. They didn't see the internal war you fought. They didn't hear the conversations you had with yourself in the dark, telling yourself to keep believing, even when nothing made sense. But you know what it took. You know the price of this peace. And that's why no one can take it from you. You've become the kind of person that silence builds. The kind who doesn't panic when things fall apart. Because you've been broken before and rebuilt stronger every time. You're grounded, you're focused, you're dangerous in the most beautiful way because nothing and no one controls you anymore. Not opinions, not judgment, not fear. From this moment forward, you don't chase, you attract, you don't prove, you embody, you don't react, you move with intention. Because your silence turned you into something the world can't ignore. A person who leads without noise, who shines without permission, who rises without apology. And when people ask where you've been, tell them this. I was rebuilding, I was healing, I was working in silence, and now I'm back. But here's the truth. You're not coming back as the same person who left. You're coming back wiser. You're coming back stronger. You're coming back whole. The version of you that went into the silence was searching for meaning. The version that's coming out is meaning. From now on, every move you make will speak volumes. Every step will carry the weight of all your silent victories. You no longer need to shout your goals. Your actions will whisper them louder than any words could. That's what true power feels like. Unshakable, grounded, controlled, not driven by ego, but guided by purpose. You've learned that revenge is not the goal. Growth is. Silence wasn't your punishment. It was your transformation. And now your transformation becomes your voice. Let the doubters talk. Let the world underestimate you. Because the truth is, they can't fight what they can't see coming. They thought you disappeared. But really, you were training. You were sharpening your mind. You were rebuilding your soul. You were becoming unbreakable. And now you rise, not with noise, not with anger, but with undeniable power. Every scar has become a symbol of survival. Every failure, a lesson. Every moment of silence, a seed of greatness now ready to bloom. Look at yourself. You're no longer the person who needed validation. You're no longer the one who begged to be understood. You've outgrown that. Now you move differently. You speak with purpose. You walk with confidence. You act with faith. And every step you take echoes a single truth. I made it. I made it through the silence. And I came back stronger than ever. So to anyone listening right now, who feels lost, forgotten, or invisible, hear me clearly. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not done. You are in your becoming. You are in your rebuilding. You are in your rise. And one day soon, the same people who doubted you will ask how you did it. They'll want to know your secret, and you'll smile and say, I worked in silence. Because silence was never your weakness. It was your weapon. It was your preparation. It was your rebirth. And now that you've risen, there's no going back. No more hesitation. No more fear. No more waiting for permission. The time for silence is over. The time for greatness is now. So go. Step into your power. Walk into your purpose. Carry the peace that silence gave you and let it guide your every move. You've done the inner work. You've rebuilt from the ashes. And now you're unstoppable because you worked in silence and came back stronger than ever.